Uncensored. You are now rocking with
actually a good segue, I think, to get into the indie versus majors. That whole conversation, being as though you are an artist, and I did a few articles on our website, which is hiphopun.com. And I posted some videos of Young Guru and a lot of people talking about independent deals. And then you got some people who they kind of get both, or they sound like they don't actually go underneath, but they do a partnership. Now, so get into that. What is better, an independent deal or signing with the major? Because you mentioned the locks, and they actually have a I forget what show they're on, but they're going back and forth in the meeting, all the locks about what is better, because they both had some ups and downs with both independent and majors. So get into that for us, brother.
Okay, if you can produce yourself, if you write yourself, if you can make your own songs, if you got other talent around you, independent is probably the route. Excuse me, you have no clue what to do on social media. You're not extroverted. You're not people friendly. You don't know how to pick beats. You're not good at making beats. You're not good at writing songs. So you need help with everything, but you probably need a major. So today, to me, I think a lot of artists are built for independence. And happening is the majors are pretty much like the corporations are just trying to test the weight of the artists, because I feel like the last conversation that I remember, coming off of that whole situation from the majors was fucking record, or you got this fucking hit. We might say a private owned business. It's really like you're a private owned business competing with a corporation. It's still the same amount of time. Like, I'm really so far in advance, you still see artists are independent, but a lot of those artists are not independent. A lot of those artists that you see moving around are not independent. So feel if they want to make it like a surprise or something like that, not me. I would tell you like, yo, I'm signing. But the whole purpose of most people signing is because they need that advance money. That advance money you usually investing in yourself. You better invest that advance money back into yourself. If you don't invest that advance money back into yourself, you might as well. It will behoove you to invest the money back into yourself, because they're not going to do anything other than that. Other than maybe give you a little more money, or you'll just be sitting there with no money complaining that you want to get off the label because they're not giving you the money that you need to pay your bills, to feed your child, etc. So what you have to do to keep the label, convinced that, hey, you gave me this money and it was a good investment, is you have to put that money towards like promo. You know what I'm saying? You got to put that money towards, you got to put that money towards like PR and things like that. So that's really what like just knowing just the know-how of how to survive in this environment with the Instagrams, the Twitters, the Facebooks. It makes it it's almost like a giveaway. You know what I'm saying? On promotions. It's free promotions. You can just keep bombing. If you got a good family, you got a good team, you got a good group of friends, just go. You know what I'm saying? So the only real difference is that advance money. For, obviously with the major, you get that advance money where you can probably like fluff yourself up faster, opposed to independent. You're working with little to no budget, and people, the respect level of an independent is like people like, oh, I'm waiting for you to get on. But one thing I would say is like, you got to think of a major is like I would say partnership, but the way, if your contract is not set up, it's really like slavery. You understand? Like, you got to think freedom versus captivity.
Wow.
Freedom, you know, freedom, you know, people right now be like, come on, you free, you know, and then they kind of, you be like, yo, I did all of this myself. And they like, yeah, but you're not signed. It's like, if I sign, I'm gonna have to give my masters, you know, give all my rights, hand my rights over to somebody else, you know, and then when I give all ownership, give up my ownership to someone else, or most of my ownership to someone else, then it's like they're trying to have a say in something that you do all the time and every, you know, every day, all day. So again, I'm not one of the artists that need help making a record. You know, so the same record that I put out by myself is the same record I would put out on Def Jam or Universal, you know, or whatever other label. So it's just really the mindset of the fans have to change a little bit. You know what I'm saying? The mindset of the fans is like, you know, they just really, you know, the hype of a certain artist in a certain field. So people feel like, oh, that's the wave, you know, so they just chase the popularity opposed to the product and the content. So, you know, that's why the whole battle with indie and major is at its peak to me right now. So that's why, you know, I wanted to have, you know, that's why this conversation with the indie and major is even, you know, is really even better for most people or most artists or most fans that might see this now or might see this later on, because right now is a pivotal time for everything, and you know, and all sorts of businesses, but music in general, because YouTube is really highlighting music. You know what I'm saying? You know, we was all in, you know, in the other communities, et cetera, et cetera. And you see how YouTube pushed the algorithms out of the main, I'm saying, so the numbers for important information is low, whereas like, you know, shit, you know, we put up random information about, you know, some of our favorite artists, and you see the algorithm, you know, is high in the algorithm. So hip hop right now, if you're clever enough, you know, you can survive as an independent. There's a lot of, you know, artists surviving as independent artists. Of course, shows is important, but I would say you got to think about slavery versus, oh, excuse me, captivity versus freedom. You know, it's really that simple. Captivity versus freedom. Do you like me free, or you waiting for me to, you know, to be a captive and write my way and, you know, sing and dance my way out of it? You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I know everybody loved the car crash, but, you know, I like freedom, man. Just enjoy the records while I'm free, please. Let's compete. You know, we just, so right now we independent. You know, we don't got Pepsi sponsoring us and nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? You know, hopefully soon. You know, but at the same time, we independent enough to still bring the show to you and still say, okay, you know, we can probably do it right another day and still, you know, and do it on our own, opposed to, you know, a corporation, you know, sitting on us and telling them, you know what, I don't want you to talk to him because he's too controversial. You know, I don't want you to talk to this person because et cetera, et cetera. So, you know, the approach is really overt at this point, because the Mace Cam beef was two independents versus Jada and Fab,
Yep.
who's major. So that is like independent versus major going head to head. And I'm gonna ask you, who you think won?